Okay, so I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial here about how to set up a newsletter in BHHS Connect. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Smart Campaigns here, and I'm going to pop into a already created campaign that I've made called Monthly Newsletter. But if you haven't done that yet, you can just hit that Add Campaign button at the top right there. So now that I'm in here, I'm going to add an action, and I'm going to add an email, just a standard email, but instead I'm going to go to the advanced editor and I'm going to start creating. I named this template here monthly newsletter. I found that didn't really help very much. Seems like it more matters in the other space below this pop-up. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to settings and I'm going to upgrade this to 700 pixels because the starting template size is pretty small for email. It'll make your emails look a little bit squished and skinny, and it's a little bit harder to see the images that you're going to be uploading and everything like that. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to use that image option that I already dragged and put in there, and I'm going to browse. I've already uploaded a couple of things here, but basically you just hit that upload button and they'll stay there forever. So if you ever need to reference them again, they'll still be there despite the fact that you're in a new template, new email, whatever. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some text down underneath this monthly newsletter. I have a little script from Mom that she wanted to include. Sometimes that little drag here button can be a little bit hard to get to, but there we go. And you can adjust the typeface in this program pretty easily. They only have a small selection of typefaces. I'm not sure if you can upgrade that or anything like that, but I'm going to mess with this later, so that's just going to stay there for now. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is a video. I have a bunch of videos here that Mom has already previously uploaded to YouTube, and these are unlisted, so that means that they're not available to Mom's subscribers on YouTube, but they are available to anybody that has the link, which works in this newsletter setting because we'll be inputting that link into this URL section here, which means that it'll take that link and embed it into the email for us. So everybody will have the link and it doesn't have to be public on Mom's YouTube. Next thing I'm going to do is the next section. I'm going to drag an image in. I find that, as you can see me struggling here, I found it very much easier to drag something up rather than drag something down. So I have a bunch of things that I still need to upload here, so it's very easy. I'm just going to hit that upload button, grab all the images I need. And it'll upload. You're always going to get that upload error of something failed to load, whatever. It's a lie, I've generally noticed, so don't pay attention to it. All of your images are uploaded just fine. So now I've uploaded the Power Broker panel advertisement. I've hit saved here, save template here. I found that button doesn't matter much. If you hit that button, it just doesn't really matter. You know, I'm sure that a lot of us feel the urge to save often, to save our work. If you actually want to save your work, don't hit that save button, hit the other save button in the bigger web browser, not this little pop-up. So, I'm making a little title here. The first thing I've done is put a divider down in between. It just makes it have like a little bit more of a cleaner look. I'm adjusting the typefaces here, I'm bolding it, I'm putting it in the middle, I'm upgrading the size, all of that, very easy to do, all of those buttons that you're probably used to in other programs like Docs, right there and available for you. Here I am futzing with it a little bit more. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I thought that background color of white was really boring. So I changed it to this pink color. I'm eventually going to change it to blue later and then another blue. But what I can do is I can make the background a color and I can make the background for all the text and things white with that second option there. This is in settings right below that option where you upgraded the size. I'm futzing around. You can determine what you think looks best. If you want everything to be white, that's your prerogative. Go for it. I find that adding like more of a neutrally bluish or reddish or just kind of a nice tone in the background helps to like ease the tension on the eyes, since we're all very used to having a lot of white, bright light in our face from our computers. So it also just kind of sets the tone for the newsletter and makes it seem more casual and fun. So you can see here, I'm dragging this bottom one up because I find that dragging something down is a little bit harder since this pop-up is so small. So I've added another divider, just keeps it neat, keeps it clean. I'm adding a video here and an image. I kept that image at the bottom there just to make it easier to drag and drop content in. I didn't necessarily fill it, I just put it at the bottom as a buffer. Here I am writing some text for the call blitz. A lot of things are going to be more or less the same, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here until we get to events coming up. I like this format that I have for my title. You can see I kind of do it in a less efficient way by copying and pasting, but when you copy and paste from one text box to another, it doesn't maintain your formatting, like size and middle formatting and typeface and all of that jazz. So what I eventually try to do is I'm going to duplicate this events coming up. If you select the box, you can see there's a little duplicate symbol there. It looks like two papers stacked on top of each other. If you hit the duplicate symbol, you'll get an exact copy of that text box, including pictures and things like that. You could do this for anything. And I'm going to keep all my typefaces and all the little standard formatting things that I like, and rewrite my title. So now that you kind of get the gist, I'm going to keep moving on and speeding forward through a lot of this, because it's mostly just adding images, adding text, adding images, adding text. Adding dividers in between those sections to keep it kind of clean. Okay, so basically what just happened there is I hit the cancel button when I was trying to exit out of a dialog box. I thought I was hitting the cancel button for that specific action that I was taking, but I actually hit the cancel button for the whole thing, the whole newsletter. So I lost a lot of content there. That was devastating, so I very much recommend that you do not hit that cancel button unless you really just want to start from scratch, okay? So I'm going to rebuild everything that I just did, and we're going to speed through this again. Okay, so let's come back in. What I'm doing here is I'm adding two columns. There's a little column sections in the settings, and there's a little column section at the top right that'll let you input columns in here. So if you ever need to put 2 or 3 things next to each other, you have options of columns that you can choose to the right here. There might be an uneven match, or there might be 3 altogether. There might be one really small thing and then a large thing. It's just an option for you to stack things directly in the same row. What I'm using it for is to input 2 different QR codes. It's important to note that QR codes are really only helpful for somebody who's on a computer and can scan them with their phone, so you always want to include the link just in case they're on mobile and don't have the opportunity to scan the QR codes through their own screen. I've added a bunch of columns at the bottom here for future things that I'm going to add in, like social media and images and pictures of people at the office, stuff like that. I've added these columns at the bottom here to add in a lot of photos from people from the office. I thought that them on their own were cute, but it took up a lot of space, so I did one wide angle and I did two vertical ones together in the same column. So I've just added social media to these three slots at the bottom. Mom requested that I input her personal social media, the office's social media, and the office's Facebook. So I like the look of all of them crammed together, but I thought it would be a little bit easier to get like text explanation for each box if they were by themselves. So I'm just going in here and I'm deleting all the ones I don't need. I'm going to put text explanation underneath all of these, so I'm going to use the same columns to put text underneath each social media icon so that I can input this one is for my mom's social media, this one is for the office's, and this is for the office's Facebook, basically. Now you see this divider doesn't quite work. It's working with either 3 columns or 2 columns. So in order to get that divider to divide cleanly between the photos and the social media, I'll have to add in a single column space there just for the divider. I'm labeling Office Instagram, I'm labeling Heidi's Instagram, and the Office's Facebook. I decided to put the Facebook in the middle, just for symmetry. It's very easy, you just use that move symbol and place it where you need it to go, and then move the other one where it needs to go. Here I'm just adjusting the typefaces and how it looks, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. Okay, so this looks a lot different because I hit that Save Template button and assumed that it would save it for everything as I sent a test to Mom. That was not true, so that Save Template button saves it temporarily. What you need is to hit that Save Template button, and then when you get out of this dialog box for the advanced editor, you're going to want to go in and hit the Save Everything button on the bottom of the email creation. Here I have some QR codes I'm uploading. I made these in Canva. These will work as is, but I think that they're a little bit big, so I'm going to go into this editor here for image properties. I'm going to hit the adjusted width at the top here and change it to about 50%. You can do this for any image. I don't recommend it because you probably want full quality for everything, but for these QR codes, I don't really want them to take up a lot of space. I don't want them to be too close to each other in case they're hard to scan. What I'm doing here is I'm editing the background of only the QR codes to show that you can edit backgrounds for individual columns. So if you have a single column next to a tri-column next to a 2-column, each one of those can be edited to have a different background, a different typeface background. You can make them all individualistic. I like a more cohesive look, so even though I'm showing you how this works, I'm not really going to change anything except for these QR codes. I want them to kind of stand out so that they're easier to scan. Here I am futzing a little bit more. I'm going to tweak this a little bit until it looks how I like, but For the most part, I'm done. I've embedded links into everything using the same URL inputter that we used for the video. You can do this for pretty much anything. If you click on an image or a social media icon or some text and hyperlink it, everything has the ability to have a link attached to it so that if anybody clicks on these things, they can be taken to another website. So if you have like an event sign-up sheet and you want to put it on this like power broker flyer, you can. And with that, I'm done. I'm going to tweak this a little bit more before I send it out. Obviously, I'm missing a video right there in the middle. So, if you compare this to the one that you got in your email last month, you will see that it's pretty similar. And it looks relatively the same in this editor box as it does in your email. So that's a very easy way to make a newsletter. Please, 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 please make sure that you save twice. Don't just hit save template, save all once you get out of that little pop-up box. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thanks so much.